Well, if everybody is ready, we'll go ahead and jump back into the 30th session of Epics of Irindal 3-0. Been going for quite a while now.
30, wow.
That is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But last time our party had found themselves in the halls of the capital of Callista in the Golden Plateau, deep in the throes of the chaos of the city, as strange, aberrant creatures had sprung up seemingly out of nowhere in all sectors of the city. And inside the palace itself, multiple locations seemingly were being attacked by these strange canine-like creatures, inflicted with some aberrant disease-like malady. These huge, emaciated canine dogs of sorts were attacking anyone and everyone around them, seemingly released into a undefended and unprepared populace. In addition to intellect devourers and other aberrant-like creatures that had sprung up all throughout the city, fires and crumbling buildings all around the city were being attempted to be put out by the city guard, but without the direct leadership of the Sultan and the captain of the guard. It was an uncoordinated effort. Our party found themselves split up into two locations. The first in the servants' quarters where Dazes, accompanied by Parathava, the lieutenant commander of the Silver Talon Guard. You found yourselves confronted with a pair of these emaciated canine aberrant creatures as they attempted to devour the cowering servants and palace staff in their quarters on the far end of the palace. Meanwhile, Trash, Gamil, and Floof had gone into the main throne room where you found Sultan Gesh being attacked by one of the palace mages, another attempting to defend him, but this palace mage had seemingly succumbed to the same sort of mania that was, now you realize, was coming from these canines themselves. Some foul stench was driving people mad as it passed by them. You all were just able to overcome this mania taking over, but nevertheless, combat ensued, and after a already strenuous battle previously below the depths of the city, you now found yourselves in another swift and dangerous bout that almost took the life of Floof in the process. Nevertheless, you were able to overcome these strange creatures. After which you had a brief and stern conversation with Sultan Gesh, who swiftly shook off the assault on his person and his home, and began issuing orders as quickly as possible to rally the guard of the city, as well as the various mages that were sworn to protecting the city of Callista. And although you had done a great deed in serving and protecting the city, it was seemingly offset by what was viewed as crimes against the same city not but a few days prior. So without much time to really contemplate and discuss with yourselves as well as Gamil, who, regardless of the situation, was previously banished from the dynasty itself, you were told to politely leave while the situation was continuing to be brought closer and closer under control. not in any sort of ungrateful manner, but you did see in the eyes and the sternness of the Sultan that this matter needed to be resolved by the city itself. To what ends, you're not quite certain at this time. As you exited the city in the company of Gamil, who understood that although he did everything he could to protect his home, he was still seemingly banished for past failings. A sentence that could not be reversed at this time. With that in mind, you slowly made your way out of the city of Callista, heading north along the shorelines of the Jamila River, before fatigue and exhaustion slowly began to overcome you as you found a place to camp for the evening and rest. Seemingly now heading northward and towards the city of Grossmauer, where you had been told to potentially meet back up with the strange, eclectic, and mysterious Dr. Nightingale, whom you had encountered briefly in the depths below the city of Callista. In addition, Floof, you reached out to entities of the divine just before taking your rest for the evening, using the crumbled remains of the sending stone given to Trash by her mentor and companion, Lady Catherine, in order to reach out to some sort of divine entity and commune and try to discover any whereabouts of Catherine, what had become of her, and where she potentially was. After an extended casting of this spell, you got a brief message from what you could only imagine is some agent of the god of death or the god themselves, Gami. And you were told that Lady Catherine was not among their charges at this time. A brief but vague but enjoyable response nonetheless. And as you took your rest now along the shores of the Jamila River, you find yourselves waking in the early hours of the morning just as the sun crests up over the eastern horizon, over the mesas in the distance, the briefest flickering of light on the farthest edge of your peripheral vision at the Sea of Tusk. My apologies, the Sea of Tusk, on the very edge of the continent of Irindal. But as you wake, you can feel the dew softly curling on the edge of the grass around you as you feel the soreness of the previous day's encounters still lingering a bit, although all but healed at this point in time. Floof, you can feel, even though healed by your companion Trash, you can feel the scars of the bite marks where the aberrant canine hound mother had bitten down and nearly taken your life. Feeling the jaw marks across your abdomen. But nevertheless, you have a new mission, still briefly accompanied by Gamil, but shortly your separation as a unit would come, as he intended to at some point head further south towards Kleinmauer, one of the smaller cities within the Landscale Alliance, while you all headed further north towards Grossmauer. But with that, as the sun begins to crest up on the horizon, and you feel yourselves break through slumber and fatigue, what would you all like to do?
We got a long rest, right?
Yeah. Go if you haven't mechanically taken your long rest, please do so.
Okay.
Bear with me a moment. I'm just looking at a quick note.
And just as a point of reference, I would say you were just north of the center, densest part of the city of Callista, somewhere along one of the main roads going northward on the western side of the Jamila River.
Okay, so we're technically still in it.
No,
Or
I would
are
say
we,
you're
like,
about
outside?
maybe a couple miles north of the city. Like, you can very much see the skyline of the city, and you still see some of the smoke kind of billowing out, and you can see the goldish, metallic and chromatic like dome kind of surrounding the city. You still see little flickers of light in certain pockets, especially in the Iron Plateau, the more slums district of the city on the northern portion closest to you. You can still see little speckles of light, and you can still hear movement, large-scale groups still moving through the city, but nowhere near the chaos and havoc that was wrought the previous night.
I'll let out a big old yawn, rub my scars, get up, fish through my pack for some whatever food I got, get some grub in. Gamil's still with us, right?
Yes, he is
Yep.
beside you. You can see him at this point. He's gotten up and he's been packing his things, what little he did unpack, other than a bedroll. And at this point in time, he's sharpening the scimitars that he's generally carries on his back, the pair of them. You can see he's got a whetstone laid across the ground, and he's slowly honing the edge of the two scimitars.
Okay. Well, Floof wants to cut to the chase and get to where we need to go, so I'll ask Gamil, fastest way to Grossmeyer from here.
It is quite a ways. It is a journey on foot. It would take at least a week and a half, assuming that nothing of danger delays you further than that. But given that we were given the Sultan's signet ring, we may be able to parlay travel with one of the merchant vessels that travels north-south along the river. That would be my suggestion. And you can see, as he points out along the river, there's already some of these vessels that were previously moored along the riverbanks that have kind of collected in this area. As it's a bit closer to the city itself, that seems to be the main thoroughfare for moving goods to and from different parts of the dynasty. And you can see some of them already beginning to stock up what little they needed. A lot of them fled as quickly as they could from Callista, or those coming further south have just moored up and are waiting permission to enter the city, unsure of what was going on, as they didn't experience them themselves and are just beginning. You can hear some of them. Did you not hear what happened? These creatures were everywhere. You can hear other conversations. I heard that they attacked the Sultan the previous night, and then the palace itself was then attacked, and this huge beam of light jettisoned from the ground high into the skies. It's just a mixture of different things. Some you hear fairly accurate, others seem a bit far-fetched and extended as far as the truth. It's quite a plethora of, depending on where they were in the city or what vantage point they had to all these incidents. Nobody really seems to have the full length and breadth of what happened, just bits and pieces that you can see from a far-flung perspective.
Okay. Well, I'll respond to Gamil. Last time on boat, I'll point to Dazes' dead wife's ghost attacked us, but we'll probably be faster.
I don't know anything about the dead much, but I would hope that that does not occur again. I have not heard of any hauntings across the river, but there are occasionally creatures in certain less monitored areas, but most of the merchants to and from are fairly capable, and you can see he points to some of the larger merchant vessels, and even some of the smaller ones have either large ballistas mounted to the front and back, or they have some that are, various harpoons and things like that to fend off any wild creature attacks along the rivers.
Well, what do you guys think?
I want to ask Emil if any of these ships in particular looks as though they would be more amenable to well, I guess the fact that we have the signet ring and are asking for passage than others.
Why don't we start by taking a look and trying to find... I would recommend perhaps not the larger vessels, but perhaps one in the medium to smaller range that seems less occupied. Go ahead, Dazzy, since you were the one to ask. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Okay. Alright.
There are a lot of vessels. It's still early in the morning. You're rubbing your eyes. You can still feel the sting of the acidic and poisonous ichor that had flown off these creatures. And although you've recovered, you can still... It's kind of like you... the following morning when you've been swimming in a public pool and there's chlorine kind of still burning at the soft tissues around your eyes. It's kind of like that feeling.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem to want to go away, and you're not sure, but you're not quite clear on what you're looking for.
Can I look for something else instead?
Sure. What specifically are you looking for? Like a different type of travel, or are you just looking for something...
A different characteristic of the ships.
Okay.
Something that I may be more experienced with. Specifically, just like, I know he said one that has more room, but I'm looking more at the ship itself and
Okay.
like the sturdiness of it, the strength of it to withstand long travel, like the general robustness of the ship itself.
Let me see. Go ahead and give me a survival check.
Okay.
Given your background, I'll go ahead and give you a... Are you proficient in survival already or not?
No, I'm not.
You're not? I'll go ahead and allow you to put your proficiency bonus on this as well in this instance, just because, so you can add your... I believe right now it's a +3 for you guys.
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, you can add that in addition just because of your background.
Alright, we'll just add a +3 to whatever this roll is.
Right, so survival.
Alright.
Oh god, yeah. With a 25, focusing on what you're looking for at this point, kind of focusing more on not necessarily the individuals, but the vessels themselves. You are able to find one in particular. It's not the largest vessel, but it seems like it doesn't have... it seems like it was already moored and pointed northwards, as opposed to those that are moored, and you notice it's already... it's floating quite proud of the surface of the water, and you understand that the more you would load up a vessel like this, that they would have to kind of balance that out, that it would sit kind of deeper in the water if it were heavily loaded with cargo. It seems like it's heading northward. It doesn't seem to have a whole lot of cargo. You see that it has a small crew of individuals, probably 2 or 3, that you can at least see moving around the top deck. And with that roll, you notice something else about this vessel. something familiar as you now focus in on this particular small to medium size vessel. You're like, where have I seen this before? And as you're looking at the stern of this ship, you look up and you see a familiar looking goblinoid individual. One of the merchants that you briefly interacted with in the floating markets of Callisto many weeks prior. In addition to that, you see a small non-humanoid individual, even shorter than the goblin, probably not much more than like somewhere between 2.5 at this 2.5 feet, 3 feet tall, very short individual, but carrying a large pack of supplies around as he sort of surveys this space. You have not seen this individual in quite a while, but nevertheless, you do recognize this individual as you're kind of watching them. They don't appear to be of this crew, but perhaps another passenger instead. You recognize this individual as Sir Winston Percival, the small canine individual that you met briefly in your first excursion as a group together from the city of Tyrhelm all the way down to the city of Mirstadt, where you had rescued him from the strange spider-like creatures in the edge of the forest of the Aelenwald. And I'll go ahead and bring up his... I'll go ahead and bring up his portrait again for you all.
It has been a while.
It has been a bit of time, but nevertheless, you do recognize this individual. The small, flat, puggish face, a large pack on his back, as he walks around with this walking stick along the deck of this ship. And you see on the back now, as you kind of survey the perimeter of this ship, just at the bow, you can see the name The Rum Runner on the back of this vessel.
The Rum Runner?
The Rum Runner is the name of this vessel.
And he's outside, like, he's not on it. He's like, where is he on it?
He's on the deck of this vessel.
Okay.
It's probably, I would say, the ship itself is... Give me a moment here. It is... I would say from tip to tip, not including the extended bow of the ship, like the I don't know what you would call it. I'm not a nautical expert, but from the main body, the main bow of the ship to the back of the stern, just behind the wheel, you can see is probably about 40 foot long, and about between 15 and 20 foot wide at its widest point.
Okay. Well, I'll say to Gamil, I recognize that individual on the deck of the Rum Runner there. It seems like the ship might have some space for us. We can try here.
I see, yes. If they are carrying passengers back towards Tafar, then we may be able to commission them, especially with the a flash of this given ring. We may be able to parlay a transport. This would certainly save us quite a bit of time getting to the northern part of the dynasty.
I think it's worth giving a try.
Okay. How would you like to approach this situation?
I got this.
I'll let Floof
Go for it.
I'm gonna walk up to walk onto the ship and assuming he doesn't see me, I'm gonna pick him up by his bag behind him, like you would a cat by its nape. And
Hello, friend. How are you? It's been some time.
good, you remember me.
Of course, we don't see many Goliath walking around these parts. You are quite the memorable face. It was Floof, correct?
Yes, Sir Winston.
Sir Winston Percival of the Magisterium Arcanum, and traveling arcane merchant of many a favor.
Yeah, could we have a ride?
Well, this is not my vessel, but I've already secured transport towards the northern portions of the dynasty. I'll be stopping just a little way south of Tafar, but I'm sure the captain over there would be happy to discuss business with you all. Are you alone?
I'm assuming.
Just turn towards us.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn him towards you guys with my arm extended.
Well, how do you do? It's good to see you all are well.
Good to see you as well.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Well is a relative term.
Yes, as I can see, this capital's not in the finest of shape. We, well, I heard that these individuals were just about to leave 2 days from now, but were forced to flee from some strange chaos and incident in the city. Do you know what happened here?
I put on a deadpan face because I don't even know how to explain what happened.
Yeah.
Floof doesn't know how to.
I don't know if
How to do
we're
that.
at liberty to discuss, so I'm kind of also scratching my head like, what can
well,
we share?
I looked at Dazes, our social pariah.
To some degree.
Well, I can see even from this distance that the city's been encompassed by a massive barrier. That appears to be a prismatic wall. That is certainly from the tower itself, the main headquarters of the Magisterium Arcanum. They certainly wouldn't engage such a device were there not a matter of utmost emergency.
Yeah, we were just there. Many people died. I wouldn't go there.
You were in the city when this occurred. Please, I'd love to... pardon me. I know you have business as well, but why don't you discuss with the captain? I'm sure you could certainly parlay a bit of transit as well, and then we can discuss further. I'm very intrigued in what happened.
We will share what we can, given the nature of the event that occurred.
Of course. Don't feel pressured in any way. I'm just abundantly curious as a man and a scholar. Or a mage and a scholar. He's far from a man. But nevertheless, you also recognize the individual that he's pointing at, the owner of this vessel. You can see on the opposite side is the smaller merchant vessel that you all were standing on as a part of the floating market district in the city of Callista. And you can see it's just covered over with thick wrappings. You can see some of the cargo that was previously stored in there, some of the various vials and things like that. But you also see large crates being moved. There's a half-orcish man moving around crates of that with jingling glass and things like that, and a handful of other larger objects covered over with tarpaulin and things like that, and burlap like materials, down to a very small sort of cargo section in the center of the ship. But you see the goblinoid man, the merchant that you had spoken with previously in that that mercantile district, that floating marketplace within the city of Callista.
Oh, sir. So walk over to him.
Ah, hello. How are you? Wait. You buy goods from me, yes? Many day ago. Yes, you buy many biles. How are you? Have you come to trade more? I wish I could, but I'm leaving. Whatever's going on here, I want no part at all.
Well, it just so happens that we were also on our way out, and we were hoping maybe we could join you.
Perhaps. You have coin? You have much coin. I have not much space. But if you have coin, maybe we have more space.
I look around the ship and I say, there's plenty of space.
Shush you!
What? I drop Percival and I start walking towards this guy.
Nothing. And he looks at you, Dazes, as he sort of steps up, and you can see he's got this extended platform that he stands in front of the wheel, and he kind of leans over the top of the wheel to kind of get eye level with you, even though he is considerably shorter than you, and definitely considerably shorter than Floof. But he's trying to, kind of match eye level with you as he stands on this platform. Nothing. How much gold do you have? What you offer?
I don't even know who has the ring on them at the moment.
I do.
have it? Oh, okay.
You guys should probably take that away from me at some point, but I'll remembering how everyone reacted to it on the way out of the city before, or those one guards. Sure, I'll pull it out to show that we got the goods.
Oh, interesting. You have fancy friends, yes? You can see this grin, just kind of almost Cheshire-like cat go from ear to ear of these pointed, like one ear very crooked and like kinked. You can see it had been like probably broken a couple times in previous years on the left-hand side. The other one very sharp and pointed in the other direction, extending off, kind of giving way to sort of like a fey lineage. But you can see like the grin just going from the base of each ear. You offer a ring in exchange?
You give us ride?
Aye, I give you ride, you give me ring.
Okay. And I start to hand him the ring.
Hold on.
What?
I'm gonna. Can I start from you real quick?
I don't stop you from taking it.
The ring is not for trade, I suppose you could say.
Then what you offer? Gold? Goods? Ring?
The ring was intentioned to be a sort of a vote of parlay for free travel.
I no work for free. I see ring is very fancy. It's very nice. Big rock. But I no work for free.
I'll point back to the city of Callista and say, you want that to happen to you?
No. That's why we leave.
Well, we're trying to save everyone. Kind of.
Well,
We'll
how
save
much
it.
are you thinking for passage for 3, 4 additional passengers?
80 gold. Or big trade.
I'm gonna look to Camille and ask and say, "You got money?"
I mean, we can do 80 gold. Like, with no
Well.
way. The ring is worth way more than that.
I don't have any gold. What did I do with it?
I think you bought something that was...
Yeah, probably. I probably wasted it. Yeah, this is on you guys. but cover me, of course.
I found my money. Actually, where'd it go? Oh,
I think I
inventory.
had...
Oh, yeah, okay.
Now, hold on a minute. And you watch as Sir Percival kind of waddles up, kind of riding the pack on his back as he sees the ring in your grasp, Dazes. Well, I say. And you can see he kind of pulls forth this monocle, and you can see this sort of prismatic light sort of swirl around as he straightens it on his eye, closing the non-lensed eye and kind of focusing on this ring as you have it in your palm. I say, is it not the signet ring of the Sultan himself? Where in the end all did you get that?
Sultan gave it to me.
You met the Sultan?
Yeah.
Sultan Gesh.
Yes, he's rude.
Well, he is of nobility. They're not always the most accommodating, but they have a lot on their plate. Nevertheless, you were given this ring by the Sultan. A signet sapphire ring of the Sultan of the Jamila dynasty.
I did say the story was a little bit complicated, you know.
I would certainly say it's quite a bit complicated. And as you're saying this, you can see the goblinoid captain. His grin is just like... He is like just grinding his like... Part of his teeth are like chipped off and like ground down to like almost molar-like. And then others are still like razor sharp. And he's just like trying everything he can think of as he's like biting at his like jagged nails, like staring at this ring. Like not even trying to hide how much he wants it.
Yeah.
I tell you what. I will offer a trade. And this Sir Percival's speaking. We have an in-depth discussion about what occurred and you, at the end of this excursion northwards, give me at least the opportunity to purchase that ring. And as he stares up at this moment in time, looks at the captain, for far more than 80 gold. Trying to point out the fact that, you know, he's trying to be honest with you, and that is what you broker from the initial sound of his voice.
Yeah, no way the king, you know, there's no way the ring is 80. Like, it's way more than that. I have 69 gold, apparently.
Nice.
So I have at least that. I know, nice.
And
But at
Bert's
least
brain... Oh, sorry.
I have at least that much. So we can at least afford, and I don't think we can haggle too much because we flashed the ring in front of the guy's face, but we can at least afford the 80.
Bert thinks the ring is priceless.
I will cover. And you look as he folds into his small pouch at his waist. You know what? Go ahead Trash, give me a persuasion check.
All right. Okay. I don't get anything addition to this, but just 11.
11. I will cover half. 40 gold and 40 to you. But, as we discussed, we'll have a long sit-down conversation. We'll have much time to discuss. And you'll allow me the opportunity to purchase that ring at the end of this excursion. Does that sound like a fair deal?
I'm going to throw out a semi-intimidating growl, suggesting that he pays for all of our fare.
Give me an intimidation check.
Okay. How am I? My intimidation's one of my only.
I'll
negative
let you.
skills.
Because it's based on charisma.
A natty 20.
You know what? Fine. I will cover the difference. I will cover all of it. But I beg of you, give me the opportunity to learn a bit about what happened here, and an opportunity to purchase said ring at the end of this. Deal?
I'm looking at these two, but I'm like, I want to say deal. Deal?
I shrug. I don't know. Whatever.
Dazes? Deal?
You can see Percival's kind of stepped back away from you, Floof, at this point.
What is what's what I'm looking for? Camille's face looking like it while we're having this discussion. Is he even nearby us right now?
Yeah, he's right beside you all.
Okay.
Just at a glance, you can see he's not thrilled. He doesn't seem to be thrilled about the idea of a transaction, but he's far more thrilled about somebody who recognizes what that ring is versus potentially giving it to the captain of this ship.
Yeah. Well, that second one was never an option.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't.
If you want to
Never
see
Not to
any
me.
more, then
Yeah,
you'd have
yes.
to give me an insight check. That's what you would just see at a
Yeah,
cursory
actually, I kinda
glance. Okay.
Yeah, I'll roll it. All these twos today.
Basically what you see.
All right.
You're still rubbing some of that stuff out of your eyes.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I'm okay with that. You said the opportunity. That doesn't mean that we have to agree to it right away. So,
Mm-hmm.
Smashing.
yeah, I think this is good.
And you can see he pulls the pouch of gold, pulling a few coins out and double checking the count, and then kind of waddling over to the goblinoid captain. I will be covering their fare. All 80 gold should be accounted for. Is that amicable, Captain? You can see the goblins kind of... Fine! Fine! Get aboard! Get aboard! Hurry, we're leaving! Quickly! As he kind of jumps down from the pedestal area.
Floof is happy now. I'm gonna grab Percival and put him on my shoulder and ask him where our rooms are.
Well, there's not really any sleeping accommodations on this vessel. It's quite a small, little mercantile ship, but so long as the cabin or the cargo hold isn't too full, we should be able to accommodate a couple of our group as well as several atop the deck itself. And he kind of points out to the open deck of the rum runner.
I'm just walking where he's pointing and getting away from the creepy goblin guy.
With your large stride, it doesn't take long for you to walk from one end of the ship to the other.
That's fair.
I would say, yeah, in about 6 to 10 seconds, you're from the stern of the ship all the way to the bow. and where you can see now there's the half-orcish man is already in the process of turning this crank that's bringing up this fairly decent-sized anchor. And you can also see to your left-hand side on the front, tying off one of the main sails of this sail vessel. It's, you know, it's got the main mast and then the secondary one that comes off the front of it, is a sort of short-haired, scruffy-looking tabaxi man. Basically a catfolk. You can see his hair is quite mangy and kind of falling out in areas. He looks like he's probably, you would guess, probably mid-50s to maybe even his early 60s. And looking quite, you know, wrung out from years of work and pretty hard labor. But nevertheless doesn't seem to complain as he's tying off these ropes for the main sails. Just as this half-orcish man brings up this large, you know, probably couple 100-pound anchor over the edge of the ship. Ready to go, ready to go, ready to go, crew! Let's go, let's go! You can hear the goblinoid man, you know, crying out from the far side as he jumps back up. You can see he's got a bottle of something in one hand. You're not quite sure what. This very dark, greenish bottle in one hand. He takes a big drink, sets it down in the crate at his feet, closing it back up before shaking his head back and forth a bit and then jumping at the wheel. Just as the tabaxi man unfurls this main sail, and you can kind of feel the vessel slowly beginning to kind of grind off of this small sandbar that the vessel had been moored against. As the orcish man runs to the other side and swiftly grabs up basically the loading plank that had otherwise been used to get down to shoreside. As you all find yourselves slowly moving into the deeper waters of the Jamila River. At this point in the river, it is quite wide here at the mouth, heading into the city further south. It's probably a good quarter-mile wide at this point, but narrows out as you go further north. You can see that there are quite a bit of ways, several miles off in the distance here in this flattish portion of the dynasty. There are smaller little fishing villages, farming towns, things of that nature on the more fertile soils along the river. The further east and west you go, you can see that fertility of the soil diminishes quite rapidly to a barren desert. As you've seen now several times, a very lifeless segment of the continent. But along the river here, it is quite flush with life. You see larger trees, tropical birds, and things of that nature. You see along some of the roadside, or the roads alongside the river itself, going north to south, a few branches off into some of these communities, these villages and things like that on either side as you're heading further north, are, you know, more bustling now, especially as you get further and further away now, maybe about 30 or 40 minutes along this initial portion of the voyage away from the city of Callista as it slowly drifts further and further into your periphery, further south as you look back towards the stern. As the Jamila River slowly snakes from east to west as it goes primarily north by northwest up through the continent of Irandal. But as this is going on, is there anything you all would like to do?
I don't think I did this yet. I'm gonna humbly ask Dazes if I could see the ring again.
I'm gonna stare at you after you ask me that question for a few seconds.
Just want to look. I'll give back.
Okay.
I'd like to inspect the ring. You said it's blue, right? Like the jewel on it, I guess.
Yes, it has a very like almost an aquamarine color, but it is a very dark blue. The tips of it and the edges are that aquamarine color, but the center is a very deep blue sapphire. And the gem itself in the center that has the crest of the city or of the ruling family of Callista etched into the top of it, and inserted and inlaid with the thinnest of fine gold inlay to make the crest of the royal family in the top of this large jewel. The jewel itself is probably the size of a quail egg.
Okay.
Like a very, probably somewhere around half to a third of the size of a small chicken egg. But as far as jewels go, that is Dazes. You've seen quite a bit of jewels here and there, and Trash, you've seen a number as well used as arcane materials for spellcasting and things of that nature. This is by far the largest sapphire either of you has ever seen.
Mm.
I think I'm interested in the fact that it's blue and lunarium. So I just want I want to really look at the ring, and I will use a spell as well while I'm looking at it and
Okay.
seeing if just to detect magic.
Okay. You cast Detect Magic across the area. You do get a ping from a couple of the lanterns on either side of the vessel, especially at the bow of the ship. But the ring itself does not give off any magical essence. It is not lunarium. It is definitely some sort of other gemstone. But nonetheless valuable, but not magical.
Okay, with that information, I toss it back to Dazes and say useless garbage.
All right. I'll just keep that then.
As you guys are watching this, in the time that has passed, you can see that Sir Percival has set his pack down in one of the crates that's tied off to the edge of the ship. But he has removed a small device that you Floof, you don't recognize this. Trash and Dazes, you recognize this. Trash, to a certain degree. Dazes, you have definitely seen one of these. This is a telescoping lens device, or some sort of telescope. Basically, it's like a handheld telescope. Trash, you've seen more fixed mounted versions of something like this. Both mechanical and arcane. More so in some of the facilities of the magistrate. You've seen some of these devices that are magically amplified to magnify and used to observe the spheres above the world itself, the actual planet of Helios. To observe the constellations, other planetary objects in the sky, the pair of moons above the planet itself, which I did name and I do not remember off the top of my head. I will get back to you on that. I do not remember. But there is a There's a slightly larger moon, and then there's a slightly smaller secondary satellite moon of this planet. That seem to move in opposite directions, rotating about the planet itself. Trash, you would remember from some of the observatory locations that you had traveled alongside Catherine with in some of her duties. They observe the transition of these spheres and use it as a means of setting a time scale and measuring the passage of time itself, as well as the seasonal transition of these astrological bodies to determine various times for crop production and certain periods of time where the arcane focal points of the continent and the planet itself is at its peak for more intense ritualistic practice.
Mm. It's not like an uncommon sight. Like it's
Not in this instance, no, and definitely not among the members of the magistrate. You would see, better than anyone that these devices are very commonly utilized among mages, artificers, and magic craftspeople like yourself, of all walks within the magistrate. So for somebody like Sir Percival, who claims to be of the Magisterium Arcanum, it's not abnormal to see them using some sort of telescoping observation device.
Okay.
You can see he's sort of eyeballing the horizon, various points along the edge of the river itself, out into the dunes, and then sort of utilizing, you can see him, in addition to the telescope, it sort of has this other sort of side implement that he sort of extends downward. It's got this slight curve to it with a perfectly, almost, methodically flat base to the edge of it in this very precise angle. You can see all along the curve, terminating at the end of the device itself, down to this straight line, straight edge portion of this extension device. You can see all these various notches with numbers extending upward as they get to the device itself. Just at a quick glance, Trash, you would probably guess that this is some sort of measuring device for angular precision.
Okay.
That he's utilizing to kind of gauge the angle of the horizon itself, and the point at which he is observing. But as this is going on and you are observing these things, is there anything, or should I say, what are you all doing?
I think all I'm doing is just kind of reflecting and people watching, because I'm still not exactly familiar with these kind of things going on around me.
Go ahead and give me a perception check, Floof.
Okay.
14. Initially, just on the ship itself, you see there, you're watching this half-orcish man is in the process of tying down cargo. He's in the process of confirming. You can see he's got a small piece of parchment in one hand, and a piece of like a charcoal marker, like a wrapped in cloth, to keep it from getting all over himself, but a piece of like wax and charcoal as a means of writing on this parchment. You can see he's observing as he's making through, counting the inventory of the ship, marking off various things within these crates. Meanwhile, you see the Tabaxi man is in the process of following orders from the Goblinoid captain as he cries out to make slight adjustments as you move along the center portion of the Jamila River. At this point, there's a number of smaller and a handful of larger vessels all around you in this wide portion of the river itself. But you can see as it begins to move northward, it is definitely slowly narrowing as you go northward. And you look down towards the water itself. It is quite deep in this center section. You're not quite certain how deep, but deep enough that you definitely cannot see the bottom of the river.
Okay. I'll also take a glance at the sky, make sure we're not being attacked by any of Dazes' ex-girlfriends.
Very funny.
With that perception check, you don't see anything.
All right, cool.
Nothing that looks ominous and or arcane.
Perfect.
Trash and Dazes, what are you doing while this is going on?
Not much, I guess. Trying to relax and recuperate, I guess you could say. I guess Sir Percival said he wanted to speak with us about what happened, right?
Yeah, he did discuss at some point before the end of the voyage northward, before he departs, he wanted to discuss the opportunity to purchase the signet ring.
Oh, yeah.
But also to discuss with you what had occurred within the city.
He want to do that now or later?
He didn't really specify, just at some point.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if we're not doing any major discussions, I'm honestly really just looking for, given the limited space and lack of comfortable bedding, I'm really just looking for a place to kind of settle in for the evening kind of thing. Or at least settle to make myself comfortable.
Okay. It's not too hard. There's not a lot of space here. After a brief discussion with the half-orcish man, you can see he's got like a palish green skin, but you're not certain. You've seen, more, of the working class, humanoid or half-elven individuals a lot of the time. His skin is, you can see as you get closer, is very tanned, like compared to what you imagine is his actual skin tone color, but this lightish green color is definitely more of a reaction to a lot of sun exposure. Kind of in a alternative reaction, I guess, based on his more palish gray complexion. That you can see as some of his gloved hands move away, some of the areas that are more heavily covered in his day-to-day work. But the areas that are exposed, like his forearms, one of his shoulders, is much more of this like lighter green to almost darker green, and some of like the heavily exposed portions of his shoulder where the sun beats down on a regular basis. And you can see like his complexion's quite, coarse and leather-like. Definitely the signs of, many, many naval excursions. And Dazes, you would, pick up on this as well. But a brief conversation with Ordo, is the half-orcish man's name. He looks at you. There's a bit of room in the cargo hold, perhaps for 2 of the smaller ones, but the others we will need to sleep on the deck.
Even a clean barrel will do. For me, at least.
I think we have some down below that are not being used for transport of goods. We have already dropped off what we brought and or sold in the markets. We are returning north to gather more.
I have no problem sleeping anywhere.
Yeah, I figured I could just blob out in a barrel.
Yeah, I also don't really have that much of a preference.
I'll ask Winston where are you heading?
Well, I'm heading northwards. I've been offered an assignment heading northwards towards the Dwarven Dominions. It is well, I've heard through the various colleagues of mine that remnants of a ancient horde, if you will, or the remains of what potentially is an ancient horde of a deceased dragon in the Vanarund Mountains. I'm heading there now, was to discuss with members of the Dwarven Dominion and perhaps probably an opportunity to research.
That sounds boring.
You never know what a dragon of ancient times might have had amongst its horde. Both the arcane, many of them tend to gather anything and everything that interests them, whether that be mundane wealth or powerful magical items.
I hear dragon bone makes for a good strong weapon.
Yes, it does. It's quite a rare material. Have you seen any dragon remains?
I don't know. Maybe underneath that city back there were some big bones, but didn't really know what they were.
I beg your pardon? Below Callista?
Yep.
Where? Hold on a moment. You found remains of a deceased dragon or otherwise below the city. How did you get below the city of Callista?
A secret tunnel in the desert.
You can see his short ears have peaked quite a bit as he looks at you all, and kind of focuses on you specifically, Floof, as you've been the most forthcoming.
The dumb one who will answer any question that's asked to him.
Will seem to be the most forthcoming with information. A secret entrance in the... What secret entrance in the desert that the city of Callista has had eons, millennia almost, of time to secure itself? Does that have something to do with what happened the night before with that column of light?
Yeah.
I don't know how much we're supposed to be sharing, Dazes. I don't know if we should step in.
I mean, first time in city, I found a secret tunnel in like one day.
I feel like Floof's getting pretty vague responses.
I guess.
And none of it's really connecting all that well. So it might be okay.
Okay.
So your group found whatever that was below. Caves full of ancient creature remains. And where did that light come from? What was that?
I think it was some ancient creature from another dimension or something.
We're not sure. Well, actually, that's a good question. It might be from another dimension. Actually, that's a good point.
A big giant
gonna say,
brain
we're
in
not
a
sure.
tube.
If it's from another dimension or not, really.
Floof, go ahead and give me a persuasion check, and you can have advantage as Dazes attempts to help you here.
I'm not
Oh,
really
yeah.
like, helping much. Even,
I mean, that's a great, but it's not bad.
You found an extra-dimensional being that jettisoned an arcane beam the size of a small city block through the skies of Callista. Pardon my exaggeration. I just have never heard such a story in all my years.
Picking up on how impressed and excited he sounds, I'm going to fold my arms and just make a smug yep and kind of smile as I say it.
And did they say why they were doing this? And how did you not perish? Well, clearly you didn't perish, but how did you get here from there? And you can see there's just this confusion, this disconnect. He's trying to put together the dots as he follows this line of logic from Floof, who isn't lying, but isn't like great at articulating what is going on. So it is like following a picture book with half the pages ripped out.
Oh, wait, what was this question?
How did you get from below the city to where you are now? You said you encountered this extra-dimensional creature and this beam. What happened? Please, go on.
Weird guy with a crow face keeps following me, and he teleported us out of there.
You can see at this point in time, his excitement up until now has been genuine, like scholarly, like just intensity and like, oh my god, like this is amazing, and suddenly that just ends.
Dang.
As you mention this individual with a crow-like face. They give you their name. This crow individual.
I'm gonna intentionally mess it up as Floof and say like Dr. Knight's guard Dinsman.
Go ahead and give me a deception check.
Okay. And by mess it up, I wasn't trying to be deceitful. I just don't think Floof. I don't know if Floof would have committed the name to memory is all.
I mean, I would feel Floof would commit that to memory given your
maybe you're
so
right.
far.
Maybe you're right. All right, I'll say Dr. Nightingale then. I think you're right.
Or are you not trying to
I'm
intentionally?
not, I'm not deceiving. No.
Okay. With the utmost concern, friends, I must urge you, if you truly encountered this Dr. Nightingale, they are quite possibly one of the most dangerous individuals on this continent.
You know him? You've met?
Thankfully, no, but I know of him. And you watch as he reaches over to his pack and begins rummaging through, trying to find. You can see he's rummaging through just rolled up scrolls and things. Where is it? What is that? Ah, yes. And he uncrumples this folded piece of paper several times over. And as he does, you can see it is a wanted poster.
I'll take a look at it.
You can see it is not the best drawing, but clear enough that you can recognize the visage of Dr. Nightingale in their plague doctor-like mask, this crowed face mask. Wanted, and it says below in common, as well as Draconic and Elvish, in 3 different languages, the 3 most common languages of the continent. Trash, you would recognize that from the many times that you've read texts and things like that, and missives and things like that. The only time that it is usually translated 3 times is something that is incredibly important because they want as many people as possible to be able to read it. And those are the 3 most common languages. It's kind of like the equivalent in Canada, I would say, in real world perspective, of having things in both English and French. Or having like emergency signage or public service announcements in multiple languages in different countries. Like, if you've ever been to an airport and they repeat the same thing in like 3 different languages or multiple languages because they're trying to contact as many or make it clear to as many people as possible what is going on. As you read this text, Floof, and you can understand that you don't speak Draconic, but you can at least see the language, but you do understand Common and you do understand Elvish. It says, wanted for sedition, destruction of public property, inciting anarchy, and murder.
Sounds like him.
And below that, in bold-faced text, wanted alive for questioning, 60,000 gold.
Holy shit.
Dang.
Dazes, you've seen a number of wanted posters in and around Mirstadt in your travels, but you've never seen a wanted poster above 10,000 gold. This is easily the highest bounty you've ever seen.
Floof is unfazed by his crimes and will only say that the photo is terrible, or the drawing is terrible.
Well, I would say that it doesn't really work well, as it just shows a mask. That is,
I'll hand it back to him and say, well, he saved our life, or our lives, so he's good to me.
as just a word to the wise, I would recommend that you don't share that information with too many folks. Especially not those of the church.
I'll look to Camille and say, have you heard of him before we met him the other day? Or last night, or whatever?
I had my suspicions of who they might be, but given the circumstances and what was going on, I did not want to look a gift horse in the mouth. Since they did assist us with fleeing that crumbling cavern.
What's a gift horse? Asks Floof.
I did not
bluntly.
question the man who was trying to save us from certain death. Pardon the expression.
I mean, I do remember being warned against his character, but I do not know the extent of the charges laid against him.
He is wanted for murder of several high-ranking members of the church, as well as members of the magistrate. Do you recall many years prior. Perhaps it was before your time. But there... Well... They were a... I forget their exact title among the magistrate, but... Sort of the closest thing to the assistant... assistant to the leader of the Magisterium Arcanum. A young, red-haired, well, young is to say the least. They were half elvish. They were quite possibly one of the better scholars among the main body of the magistrate, and an excellent archmagus, probably only second to the Master Arcanist Darius himself. Well, they were allegedly done in by this Dr. Nightingale. Disintegrated on the steps of the magistrate's headquarters, no less.
Disintegrated?
Yes, all that was found of their remains was a powdered residue and a shadow cast where their body was vaporized against the marble walls.
He turned me into a bear cub once.
Well, count your blessings, you were only temporarily subdued. If they had wanted to, they likely could have instantly sent you to meet your makers.
I'm gonna say this slow for you guys, just in case, but I'm gonna say, well, we're going to meet him now. Okay, no one stopped me.
I'm just going to pretend I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that.
We're going to meet
Okay.
him now.
I didn't hear it!
We're going to meet him now!
I'm gonna cover Floof.
Are you a... Never mind.
He said he didn't hear me.
Covering your mouth.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I cannot stop you doing whatever you choose to do, but I would highly recommend that you remain far from whoever Dr. Nightingale is. They are quite possibly the most dangerous individual on this continent.
Well, then what do they seek from helping us out?
I have no idea, but I would imagine that if they sought to help you, then they must have been looking to gain something.
Allies, perhaps?
To what end?
Only they would know. As of now.
He's mainly helping me avenge my mom who was murdered, so...
I cannot stop you from doing whatever you choose to do, but I can simply give you the soundest advice I have and show you what I know. I recommend that if your paths cross with this individual in the future, that you make that meeting as brief as possible. lest you cross them and they change their mind about your usefulness.
He usually only shows up for a couple minutes anyway. So it'll be short.
Anyway,
Winston hates talking to me now. He liked it at first.
he looks to you, Trash, at this point, as you've all kind of gathered around this discussion, kind of abandoning this line of logic with Floof, a bit terrified of where that might go, and trying to focus on what, you might be able to be more eloquent about delivering. What? Perhaps you can give more of a concise, more detailed interpretation. What was this extra dimensional being that you encountered, and what was it trying to do? What do you think it was trying to do?
I don't know who to trust with this information, and I don't know how much I can divulge. I've been told by so many multiple choices to run and withhold information and to be wary that I'm tired, if I'm being honest, and everything that I feel like I've known is just been thrown into chaos, and I'm just trying to find a semblance of normalcy, and I'm trying to listen to my own intuition as to what I believe is right, but all I can say is that there was a planned attack, which is what you witnessed, or at least saw the aftermath of. To its purpose, I think what we uncovered underground was some sort of ritual or process to extract, because they were extracting lunarium, right? This is just because I'm just going off of my memory, but
they were definitely extracting some sort of. You've seen lunarium crystals more frequently. This was and you've seen briefly more of a liquid lunarium in the blood of some of the creatures you've encountered and subdued. And you've never seen that quantity of it before. So much so that it innately you felt the arcana is so rich in the atmosphere of that place, like nothing you've ever experienced before. Like the amount of magical energy in that cavern at that one point, and that nexus of that gathering energy around the remains of that that large brain-like mass was so concentrated, even it's hard to even describe, but yeah, it was definitely lunarium. Okay. In a liquefied form of it. Like a very dense liquefied form of it. And you saw them extracting it from the remains of some sort of creature below the surface of Callista.
So I'll do my best to try to convey that the scale of the operations that we saw, of how much lunarium, and it seemed like this was a planned large-scale operation or ritual or whatever you want to call it, to perhaps resurrect some ancient entity or being, and perhaps extra-dimensional, otherworldly, a great evil, some believe it to be, and I don't know who to trust anymore, because an attack on this scale meant that members of the Magisterium Arcanum and even the Royal Guard must have been infiltrated from the inside, and I don't know who to believe, because and then then I go into the history of just like the mind flayers were involved, and so some people were not operating as themselves, for they were no longer themselves, and that whole thing. It's a little bit of a trauma dump at this point, basically.
My area of expertise is not in the theoretical fields of the arcane, more so the assertion of knowledge of physical artifacts and the implementation of said arcane into useful devices, not unlike yourself. But it sounds to me like some sort of concentration of energy, this device. Based on what I know of, if this was truly some sort of means of resurrection or augmentation or transmutation magic, then it just doesn't fit with that school of magic. It sounds more like this was being used as some sort of focus. And you watch as he rushes back to his satchel or his pack, and he begins to pull out he pulls out a piece of chalk and begins drawing what looks like sort of an arcane circle on the deck of the ship. Hey! No, nothing dangerous! Nothing! Be careful! Nothing weird! I promise I'm not casting any spells. I'm simply drawing a diagram. I'll wash it away myself afterwards, I promise. You watch it! I'm watching you! And he goes back to drawing the this arcane circle. And you see, Trash, in fact, go ahead and give me, as he draws this, go ahead and give me an Arcana check.
Okay. Arcana is 16 total.
16. You understand the basic positioning of this circle, this arcane sigil. Although you're not like proficient in every single aspect and every field of magic, you can understand that this would be some sort of enchantment, or rather, some sort of enchantment or divination, rather, or some combination of those two schools of magic. As you see those sort of common sigils to the left and right of the center, and you see in the center, he's kind of made this focal point. Without some sort of powerful focus, generally two schools of magic cannot be utilized simultaneously. They simply do not mix naturally. But generally utilizing, if this was some sort of... This is just a hypothesis that they were utilizing whatever the remains of this creature you describe was being used as this focal point. And given the remains and the material utilized in the casting of one's spells, that effect can be amplified tens, if not hundreds of fold in its impact. Used to say, I've never seen any magic like this before, but...
So you don't think it was an attempted resurrection, more so...
No.
It was a source of focus for the energy?
Yes. Some sort of means of...
I'm taking like a rabid notes right now, where I'm like that notes girl. I just keep nodding and I'm like, I'm like trying to write it all down.
Resurrection tends to be more on the insertion of energies into the focal point and the concentration into said, where the focal point is the deceased. This seemed to be utilized as a fulcrum of sorts, or a prism, if you will, as he focuses, and he kind of uses his spyglass as a reference, much like a lens. This was used to amplify whatever they were trying to do. Whatever this was not meant to bring about the resurrection of this extra-dimensional being. At least not in this moment in time. Was there anything else? Did you see anything else?
Well, I'm looking at my companions to see if they have anything else to add to the conversation, but I will, in my own way, ask, is there a possibility that someone could be under the control of someone else or under a spell's influence for the span of days, weeks even?
Potentially, it's not unheard of. It generally requires multiple castings of said spell routinely by a high-level, capable mage. One could certainly continue casting said means of control, but each time this enchantment was cast upon the target, they would have a potential of breaking free. Now, that depends on their physical and mental strain at the time, other factors notwithstanding. It is certainly in the realm of possibility.
I don't say this out loud, but I am. I don't say this out loud, but I am a little disheartened by the information. I just...
there was a floating city above Callista.
Floating city? What?
Yeah,
Rosh, there's no such thing as floating cities. No such magic exists in this world.
Yeah, huh? You two saw it, right?
Now that you remind me of it, there was, I do remember saying that, yeah.
Give him
Just for a
Floof's
moment.
sort of interpretation of things. you can see there's this heavy skepticism, but that is slowly being diminished as he turns and hears it being reciprocated by you, Dazes.
A more reputable source.
Well, a second corroborating source.
If I remember correctly, it was noticeable while the
beam
of
of
light was being shined into the sky, right?
I see. Then
And just for good reference, did we tell him about, may as well, I can't find it in my notes for some reason, but you know the name that Floof, you had been able to help kind of decipher with what Elvish you know?
If it's a person you're thinking of, that's on deck for me. If you're talking about that Lord Dracoon guy, is that who you're talking about?
Maybe it was like
Most
commonly like translated was like.
Oh yeah, hold on, let me look. By grace of moonlight. Oh wait, never mind. That's not what that was.
Something like Endbringer. I don't know. I'm trying to skim through my notes, but I can't.
Translate. Oh god. Pearl of Power. I'm sure it's in here. I just gotta find it.
Spell Eater?
Oh yeah,
Was that it?
Let me see.
are you referring to the name that you were given by Catherine? Or the name that the item that you heard in the broken message?
I think so. It was like Caerwenton or something?
Caerventan.
Caerventan.
Yeah, you would hear the words Caerventan in that broken message, which roughly translates from ancient Elim Prima, the ancient Elvish language, to Spell Eater.
Okay, so I guess I will. Not that it really helps, but at this point, I'm just kind of. I've lost like any semblance of like being overly cautious and trying to guard myself, because at this point I need someone to info dump and trauma dump, because I've been holding on to all this information, so I'm just like more obliged to. And perhaps, I'm guilty for just looking at Sir Winston Percival and just seeing the face of a dog and just being like, he's so trustworthy.
Sucks to be you. He's the BBAG. No.
No.
You're all gonna die.
Like, at least more inclined to share. So I will mention that we have this kind of information that the last, and I'm very guarded with Catherine. That is the one thing that I've been very, very cautious with divulging information. But I will just say that I received a broken message from Ascending Stone, and these were the words I was able to decipher before the Ascending Stone shattered in my hand. And I believe...
yes, I think I have that exact message.
I do. It's they... ... looking to find ... must avoid Caerwenton.
Yeah, Caerwenton. And then so I will say this, and then I will explain that that's what happened, and I will say I don't recall who was sending the message, but I know it was a member of the Magisterium under duress or attack or something, because and then it shattered. So I'll just say that.
Give me a sec. In fact, give me somebody roll me a d20 here. I'm gonna have you guys roll this one for me.
I'm gonna roll in twos, not me.
I've been kind of rolling mid. So I can roll
I think this one's. I feel like this is your venture for sure. So you go for it.
All right. Yeah, it's not amazing, but I rolled a 13.
Okay.
Yeah, just like a flat roll, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm, so
I'm
13.
adding his modifier to it.
Okay.
Kevin Tan was the supposed ancient dragon known for consumption of magic and just an insatiable greed of the arcane. That's ancient history. That dragon has long since been gone from the history of this continent.
But is there a chance? Some way?
I would never rule out anything as a man of logic, but I tend to observe ancient history with a strong air of skepticism. That is pre-cataclysm history. Very little remains of such records. There are whole segments of our organization that study such things, but unfortunately I am not among them. You are, however, heading northwards, closer to potentially individuals who might have more information on the subject. Members of the Dwarven Dominion are certainly of some of the oldest arcane craftsmen and individuals of this continent, and if this creature existed at all in ancient history, would have had the most interaction with them. As they were rumored to have their lair somewhere deep within the Vanaru Mountains. And that is the bulk of what I know on the subject.
Floof will get serious for a second. And say, do you know Lord Dracon, whatever?
The Lord of Grossmauer.
Yes.
Yes, he's his several times ancestor now, but yes, Lord Vladimir Dracon is the Baron of Grossmauer.
Vladimir Dracon, I'll say again. And any info on him you can share with me?
I'm not as familiar. The magistrate has a small presence in the city of Grossmauer, but compared to any of the other provinces, severely diminished. It is more of a religious segment of the Landscale Alliance. And it's more of a military state more than anything else. The Dracon family has ruled over that segment of the continent for nigh on 300 years.
Do you have a picture of him in your bag?
I'm afraid not. I do not.
I'll go silent as I think about how I plan on murdering him.
Dazes, do you have anything
Well-
to add to... Oh, I was going to say, do you have anything to add to the situation?
I was just gonna ask him if he had any more questions.
I certainly do, but I don't know where to start. That is certainly the wildest of stories I've heard in quite some time, if not ever. I simply say I need some time to mull things over, perhaps take some notes and compare to a bit of my research and discuss the matter with colleagues. And my intent is to meet with other members of the magistrate just south of Tafar who are researching a number of artifacts in the area, as well as the stranger than normal concentration of the lunarium crystals within the region, and of course the trade amongst the various portions of the continent as part of my duties within the magistrate. But that doesn't mean I don't dabble here and there with a bit of exchange of information. If I find anything out, I can certainly try to reach out and contact those I can, and perhaps share a bit more information. You certainly shared quite the story and quite the well, yes. I have quite a bit to muddle over in my hours before bed, and over the course of this conversation and various exchanges, it's already probably well past midday at this point as you had the end of this conversation, as you exchange ideas and exchange notes of what occurred in the past few days. While this is happening, can I have somebody roll me a d20, please?
I'm on it.
Okay. Is there anything else you all would like to discuss, or should we just go ahead and move things along a bit? Because I don't want to cut you guys off if there's anything else you wanted to talk about, get out in the open, mull over with Sir Percival.
I can't think of anything specific. I mean, I was thinking of asking him, what he was. He just said what he was planning on doing. I know he had mentioned that like dragon horde a while ago. I was gonna ask him about that a little more, but we could just say that happened over time.
Sure.
As we continued, in continued conversation.
Right. Generally with that roll, basically the history check I had you guys roll for him, you get the gist that with your passive insight, he doesn't seem to be, he's scrounging for what little information he can think of at this point in time, with regards to ancient history. Trash, you would understand that with your proficiency in history that pre-cataclysm events are widely unknown even amongst the most fervent scholars of the subject, that there is still wide swaths of information pre-cataclysm and of the ancient Aelin Prima that has just been lost to history at this time. That there's whole segments of the magistrate that devote themselves to that study to try to unearth additional information. You would know the majority of those individuals that try to unearth that sort of discussion, the more bold of them generally travel out to the Mithril Badlands, which was formerly the primary segment of the continent where the former empire of the Alien Prima was, and that the cataclysm itself resulted in the utter destruction of that region, is what you would understand from basic historical knowledge that you have.
Mm-hmm.
You personally have never been to the Mithril Badlands, but you understand, basically having looked at the map itself, it is just an utter wasteland. And the basic knowledge that you would know, Dazes, as well, is that where the main city of the Alien Prima was is basically a giant crater now. And Trash, you would know, corroborating this information of where this was, the biggest mystery of the Alien Prima is what resulted in the utter destruction of this empire. That is like the single biggest mystery of the Alien Prima.
Okay.
And Dazes, you would know the only real civilization or point of civilization anywhere near the Mithril Badlands is the city of Zimdrum. Just on the eastern edge of the Badlands.
Yeah, okay.
That's the largest point of civilization. There are scatterings of raiders and things in that area. It is basically a lawless segment of the continent. It's not really a place that anyone goes unless they have primary intent. Sir Percival shares with you guys. It's dangerous beyond any sort of imagination, stretch of the imagination. You have the utter wasteland of the Mithril Badlands, and then to the north you have the Volpal Sea, full of creatures the likes of which even the most stout sailors do not wish to tussle with. Not to mention the natural storms and whirlpools that form in that area, given the topography. It is just an utter portion of chaos in our earthly realm.
I mostly glossed over my eyes because up until recently, the scale of this place to me was pretty small, and I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, I would say in your existence, Floof, majority of your understanding in and around the Aelenwalt and the surrounding civilizations up until this point where you've now traveled with your companions. Yeah, this is the first time you've even heard the name Mithril Badlands.
Yeah, I don't think I would have even known this continent was as big as it was. I'm basically like a prehistoric being coming out of the woods.
But is there anything else you all would like to discuss before we move the clock forward a little bit?
Floof is good.
Yeah, I think I'm all right.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're good then.
The remainder of the day moves by relatively uneventfully. The weather is clear. No sign of rain in this region or any type of ill-intended or dangerous creature as you sort of survey the area, relaxing what little bit you can after such an intense both mentally, physically, and emotionally segment of your journey thus far together as you move northward with the smooth air currents along the Jamila River. And also the when the winds seem to fade, you hear the captain call out, "Pick up the engine! Pick up the engine! The winds are failing! Pick it up! Pick it up! Pick it up!" And at this point in time, you feel kind of the rumble and the stirring and the hum of an arcane lunarium motor beginning to hum below the backside of the rudder of the ship as the Tabaxi man begins to collect up the sails for the time being as this wind becomes a bit fickle and changes direction. But nevertheless, as the light is beginning to fade now over the western horizon, in the dark night, you can see the crystalline, smoothing, glass-like surface of the Jamila River becomes very still and calming. The only real noise you hear is the boat sort of moving through this segment, as well as a few other craft moving north or south along the river. You hear the sort of paddling of and thrusting of water behind the boat itself, propelling you further northward towards the northern edge of the Jamila River. High in the sky, you see the pair of moons overhead, which again, I don't remember the names that I gave them. I apologize. I will find that and share that later. I'm trying to dig through probably 6 pages of general lore right now, trying to find those names. But you can see that the number of craft as you moved into this sort of just south of center point of the river between Tafar and Callista now. The number of craft atop the river have dwindled drastically in this area, as most have either moored or just passed out of this particular area. But nevertheless, the evening goes without event. You can see Ordo and the Tabaxi man, you now know is Gissels, is his name. Take shifts watching at the bow of the ship and or helping to steer so the captain can take a much-needed break as well. If you guys need to, you can go ahead and take another long rest. If you spent any spell slots or anything of that nature, you can go ahead and recharge those once again. If I can go ahead and have one more D20 roll from somebody, please, for the next day of travel.
I think this
All right,
one's on Disease.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Okay.
Nice.
Even up my 2. One of them.
The day goes by smoothly once again. This time you get a heavy wind from behind as the arcane motor is stunted for the time being, allowing the natural air currents to propel you northward along the river. Is there anything on this second day that you all would like to discuss, you would like to do? Otherwise, we can move things along once more to the final day of travel towards your destination.
You schmoving.
Yeah, I'll just be helping around the deck, maybe. I'd like to go on record saying that I cuddled with Winston last night. Or at least tried to. Like he was,
Yeah, did he let you? That's the question.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give me, just for flavor, give me a
furry check? No, just kidding.
furry check. No, go ahead and give me an unarmed attack roll. So go ahead and or give me an athletics check. Better yet. Yeah, give me an athletics check to cuddle. an un
Nat 20!
Yeah, that is a grapple until you choose to let him go.
God. You cuddle with Sir Winston all evening long. At one point, you feel him like realizing what's going on and trying to worm his way out of your grasp, but with no avail, as he is smothered in your chest all night long.
Aw, he is
like
nice and warm.
like a teddy bear, a terrified, unwilling teddy bear.
Perfect.
But if I can go ahead and have one more roll from someone for the last day of travel, please.
I can roll. Because everyone else rolled, right? I think.
I
Yeah.
believe so.
Yeah, everybody rolled at that.
Okay. I rolled a 13.
13. Okay, give me just a moment here. Okay. As you all head down the latter half of the Jamila River, heading towards the city of Tafar on the northern edge, and some of the various farming and fishing villages along the river, you've come to a portion that's quite sparse in this area. You can see there are segments of tall grass all along this portion of the river, and you have not seen another craft for probably a good hour, almost 2 at this point. You find yourself quite in a segment, kind of a branching portion of the river that's kind of broken off here. There are some split segments, even though the map doesn't really show it. There are some splitting segments of this river where they go either further east or further west. You're in a segment that's a bit further east towards the mesas. On both sides, you see these tall grasses that have formed on both sides of the river, kind of obscuring everything around this. Also, despite the narrow portion of the river that you all are in, with it being... Give me just a moment here. Checking something real quick. This portion of the river probably a little less, right around 100 foot wide, but still quite deep in the center, to the point where it is quite dark, and segments around the areas are quite almost like bog water, where it's a mixture of brackish water and mud and things of that nature, heavily obscuring this portion of the river. If I can get everyone to give me a perception check.
I'm literally cracked tonight. I think 3 out of my 4
My
or
God,
5 rolls
what
were natural
Damn.
20s.
Fuck, man. Take a picture of that shit.
Mm-hmm.
My
Let's
God.
see, nat 20. Yeah, three out of my 4 rolls were
That
natural
is-
20s.
That is wild.
Yeah, what a night.
Oh, now I'm on fire.
Okay. As you all are passing through this brackish area of the river, you can see that the captain is trying to remain in the center of the river, where it's quite deep, just in case that there is some sort of hidden sandbar or anything below that might run aground the ship. Floof, of the 3 of you, you are the only one who sees something on the right-hand side, just a little ways on the, I don't know nautical terms for left and right. Just to the right of the bow, you see something shadowy moving around the ship. Something shadowy and large.
Hmm.
And as you grow closer and closer, you almost feel like it's not moving for a sec. As you watch it from afar. And just as you're about to disregard what you see, you watch that shadow sink deeper into the water and disappear briefly, giving you rise for concern before as something strikes the right-hand side of the vessel. I need everyone to give me a dexterity saving throw. Floof, with that nat 20, you have advantage on the save.
Sick.
Then I also need to roll for the crew.
Wow, I needed it. I needed the advantage there. And it still was bad.
That was with advantage?
Yeah, I actually had a critical fail. A 1 and a 3.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that balanced out a little.
Okay.
Dice giveth and dice taketh away.
Yeah, after the 3 nat 20s you had.
Mm-hmm.
Dice are like, fuck this guy.
Yep. I should have cleared my cookies or whatever.
I need to roll for Dazes, you are able to latch on to one of the ropes as something large strikes the side of the ship. Trash, just as well, you are able to spread wide across the deck and kind of you slide against and like kind of slam against one of the side walls, but enough that you're so low and small of a creature it doesn't cause you to go sailing over the side of the vessel. Floof, you roughly where would you imagine you are on the vessel right now? With it being about 20 foot wide and 40 foot long, where would you say you were when this object struck the ship?
Well, as I'm probably going to regret saying this because I just have a feeling, but I probably would have been leaned on the side of it, looking at the people and whatnot along the coast of the city as we're traveling.
As this object strikes, you and the orcish man, Ordo, both go sailing over the side of the vessel and into the murky waters of the Jamila River. And as you fall into the water in this sort of mucky, clear portion of the river, you can hear the splash and the rush of water. And as you kind of get your bearings and you watch Ordo, not but 20 feet beside you, fall in beside you, you look under the belly of the ship, and suddenly that shadowy object that you saw suddenly sink below the water. Becomes painfully clear what this is. This nearly 15-foot long, scaly, four-legged creature from snout to tip of tail, about 15 foot long, and you see it moving almost like a torpedo through the water. Having knocked the two of you into the water, you see it about 30 foot to the other side, or about 30 feet away from you, or 35 feet away from you, opposite the other side, underneath the belly of the ship, this massive reptilian creature. Go ahead and give me a quick nature check to see if you know what this is.
Okay.
I don't think you've seen this, but you might understand. With an 11. I don't think you've seen one this large before, but you understand that this is some sort of crocodile or alligator. And it is massive. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the map real quick here. Just a sec.
I think the wrong one of us fell into the water.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and pull this up and bring you all to this map here. You are towards the bottom here. You can go ahead and put your tokens on the ship here. But that is roughly what you see. Floof, you would be about 10 foot overboard on the left-hand side here.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and put some makeshift tokens out for the crew. That out for Ordo. I don't really have a Tabaxi token, and I don't have a Goblin token, but go ahead and put their tokens out here. Oh, shoot, I've got that on the wrong layer. Give me a sec here. There we go. Go ahead and put female token as representation for the Tabaxi, and put the Goblin token here behind for our Goblin captain here on the ship. And with that, I need everyone to roll initiative.
Okay.
Bobbering time.
Did I not clear this? Hold on one sec. We'll take your current rolls. I should have pulled this up beforehand. I did not clear this. My bad. There we go. Let's see here. Cease. And trash. And Floof, did you roll already? Yeah, you
13, yeah.
see 15 on mine for initiative.
Oh, yeah, +2, yeah.
15. Change that. Floof. And giant croc. And then we'll go ahead and put crew as one item here. Let me go ahead and give a combined roll for them. Okay. 38 box. Okay. They have a -1, but they rolled a nat 20.
Let's go.
Normally that would mean they would go first unless somebody else rolled a nat 20, but just for the sake of time, I'm not going to do that. Floof, you were at 15. Trash, you were at 19. Yeah, and then Dazes was at 24 here. Okay. Cool. So that works. Trash, the giant croc will go before you just because of the nat 20.
Okay.
So it almost worked out perfectly anyway, so. Cool. Oh yeah, with that, Dazes, as you catch yourself on the rope, you can now see what had struck the vessel. You can see it me go ahead and roll here real quick. That did... you can see a small crack on the outside of the hull from where this large crocodile had slammed itself into the side of the vessel. Just so you guys are aware, the ship itself has 100 hit points. That last strike did 6. So if the vessel hit points drop below 50%, there's going to be a delay to your travels at the end of this. If it drops below 25, it'll begin to take on water and sink. And if it hits 0, well, it's destroyed and you'll have to hoof it the remainder of the way. So keep that in mind as this is occurring here. So you're currently at 94.
Okay.
But yeah, Dazes, you're the first to react as you manage to maintain your composure, and you can see about 10 feet below the water. Now as you're focused on what just occurred, this massive crocodile just slammed itself up against the edge of the boat and is seemingly now focusing on Floof and the Orcish man Ordo that had fallen overboard. And at the end of each round, I will progress the ship through this portion of the river. So, depending on how you want to try to engage or not engage, or however you want to take this, there is a component of movement to this encounter as well.
I'm so enticed to jump into this river right now. First thing I want to do is yell, "Can you swim?" in the general westward direction, to ask most of the Orcish man. I probably already know that Floof can swim.
You can see that they're both just under the surface of the water. They seem to be moving, but they haven't come up yet. But they don't seem to be, floundering from what you can see here or anything like that. They just haven't quite gotten back to the surface yet.
Okay. Want to do this? I kind of do want to do this. All right, yeah, I'm gonna be an insane human being an insane water genasi, and I'm gonna dive into this murky river water.
Okay.
Sick.
It's right here.
Okay. As you dive in, you can now see fully the length and breadth of this crocodile. It is about 15 feet long. Just massive jaw, huge scaly hide, just beast of a prehistoric reptilian creature.
I feel like I would know this. Would attempting to use my quarterstaff underwater, like considering it's underwater, it would be kind of like a sluggish attack of some sort. Would that affect anything?
I do not remember. When making a melee attack, a creature that doesn't have a swimming speed, either natural or granted, has disadvantage on attack rolls of the dagger, javelin, short sword, spear, or trident. You do have a swim speed, so that does not affect you. And
Okay,
that
cool.
it is a staff. It is not a spear or a trident. But
Yeah.
you do have a swim speed, so it's irrelevant. But you
Cool,
do not
okay.
have disadvantage in this.
All right, well, I'm gonna get to swinging.
Okay, let's see it.
Oh, first attack, nat 1.
You swing wide and it just sails over. You can feel it like roll across the hide of this creature, but you find 0 purchase as it swerves underneath your first strike.
All right, let's try that again.
Yeah, a dirty 20 will definitely hit.
Okay.
All right. 7. A solid strike as you find purchase in one of its eye sockets, slamming it down and causing it to squirm under the water, thrashing a bit as it does.
I'm gonna try something.
Okay.
I'm gonna look at something real quick just to make sure I'm getting this right. Even though I think I used it last session, so I probably already know.
Pardon?
Okay. I guess that wouldn't do what I thought it might do, so maybe I won't use that. Okay.
Well, what are you
I'm
trying
gonna
to
go
do?
ahead. So I was considering using my Hour of Reaping to frighten it because I thought frighten caused it to move away from the attacker, but it just makes it to where it can't move closer. I was gonna attempt to use that as like leverage to maybe force it to move itself away from the ship.
Well, it would move
I'm
away from the
frightened.
source of its fear, which would be you.
Right. I was gonna try to reposition myself, like here,
Gotcha.
and then use it. But it doesn't. I don't think it actively makes it move away
Give
from
me
me.
1 sec. Sorry, I'm not meaning to move that.
I think it just stops it from moving closer, which is already next to me. So
Right. Sorry, I'm just
Yeah.
putting a marker on this guy. Yeah, it can't actively move towards the source of its sphere, and it has disadvantage on attack rolls against the source of its sphere if it becomes frightened. So if you want to use it, you can.
you know what? Yeah, I'll use it for the disadvantage aspect.
Okay.
So
Is there a saving throw, or is it just on a hit? What?
it's a creature. Well, it says each creature within 30 feet of me that I can see
Okay.
must succeed on a Wisdom saving throw DC 15.
15. Okay. 1 sec here. Okay. DC 15. It rolled another nat 20.
Oh, there we go.
As you just see it just thrash, it's operating on pure just ambush instinct and just doesn't seem to fear your small frame as it is operating entirely on killer instinct.
All right. You know what? Looking at it again, I might have actually not even been able to do that anyway.
What's
So
that?
I think that's an action. I think Hour of Reaping is an action.
Oh,
but
does it
not
say
a
it's an
bonus
action?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
That
then
was a
yeah, we'll
bonus
just
action, but
it
just
wouldn't have
regular
succeeded anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah.
So go ahead and you still do have your that was your second attack. You still have your bonus action.
Yeah. All right. Well, since I have a bonus action, I'll go ahead and let's see which one I want to do. I guess flurry of. We'll try flurry of blows.
Okay.
Why not? So first one.
A natural 20 definitely hits.
Nice.
So go ahead and roll that damage so you can double the dice and then add your modifiers.
Punch him.
Or just have it
Um,
roll you can have it roll a crit, I think, too. Or crit damage.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to roll a crit, and I'm also gonna I'm also using my. Let me see which one of these I want to use. One of my rings that I got on. I think the
Okay.
one that does. I was gonna say the one that does lightning action, but I'm trying to remember what the other one does. My items.
The Ring of the Ram, I think, pushes things back.
Oh, yeah, it does do that.
Yeah.
I can't use both, can I?
No, not in this circumstance. I think that you would need to use one or the other.
Okay. If I hit again, though, can I
yeah,
use both?
you could use both if you hit with another one, yeah.
Alright. Okay, so yeah, I'll use the one that does the lightning damage, the Knuckles of Durin.
Okay.
In this one, and I'll roll my crit damage, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and use all the charges at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah.
You use all 3 charges at once on this creature.
All,
and you'll
four.
need to. Yeah, you're gonna have to double this as well because this would be a crit damage.
The Knuckles have a critical hit feature you might want to take a look at.
I believe they do. Forget.
Let me roll this unarmed strike.
Pretty good one too.
Yeah, they do have a critical hit feature you might want to look at.
Oh yeah, it does say that, doesn't it? Oh, that's nice. That is really nice.
Do you want to read that off for everybody? 'Cause-
Yeah. Upon a critical hit expanding at least 2 charges, the target must make a DC 20 Constitution saving throw or be stunned for 1 minute, or until they succeed the saving throw at the end of their turn.
Okay, so they need to make a DC
Nice.
20. Which con's not their worst stat, but this is still a pretty high roll. So you know what? I'm gonna roll this above the table since this has some impact to it. So they need, just so you know, that this is a +3 to this roll. So they need to roll at least a 17 or higher.
Come on, Pog it out.
They do not. They are stunned.
Oh yeah.
They are
Nice.
stunned on top of that. So let me move this over real quick. I'll put a little marker on here. We're gonna go ahead and put the little thing there. So yeah. So go ahead and roll. You already rolled the damage for that. Go ahead and roll the massive amount of crit damage that this is going to be.
Yeah. So it's 8d6 for all 4 charges. But does that double?
Yes, I believe it does.
Let's go.
I'm just gonna roll it.
Okay.
/R 16d6.
Yeah. Oof. So that is
Fucking go.
62 damage.
That is fucking amazing.
That is a lot of damage.
Including
this
my previous
creature is
quarterstaff
just
damage is 69.
just squirming as if it's just locked in, like its muscles tense and squirm, and it cannot move. It is not dead, but it is just brutally wounded in this process. So it is, really not looking great.
God damn.
Yeah, that was
now I punch
quite
it again.
the blow.
That was the play
Yeah.
of the
That's some
session,
monk
or the-
shit. This is
That
what
was
we've been
some
waiting for.
monk
This is
shit
some
right there.
monk shit right here.
All right, let's see it.
All right. Second attack.
23 definitely hits. Go ahead and
All right.
roll the damage.
I guess I don't want to waste my ring, but I kind of do want to waste my ring just to see what it'll do. You know what? I'm not gonna waste my other ring. I'll keep it just in case I
Okay.
need it. I'll just roll this regular damage.
Okay.
Wow.
You
pathetic.
strike it directly in the eye, almost like bringing your your middle finger and your ring finger out and just striking it in the eye. It is just barely holding on as it just continues to squirm. Oh, wait, it is stunned. You would have advantage on that strike if you want to roll again to see if you crit.
Oh, sure, why not?
No, you're good.
Oh.
Okay. So we'll take the first one. It is not quite gone yet, but my God, is it close. Is there anything else you'd like to do? As this
Yeah.
creature is
anything
just
else?
like jittering, this massive crocodile just holding on for dear life as you just basically stun locked it in a single blow.
I'll just yell, I think I got him good.
As you all watch Dazes surface, as this crocodile, like you see the tail like just slapping against the surface of the water as it's trying to move. It's just unable to like gain control of its muscles as it just spasms in the water. But as it does so, Floof and Trash, you sense movement as Floof, you just barely come up to the surface. You sense movement over here in these tall grasses and bushes as you watch another one of these creatures begin to come out of the tall grass and into the water behind you. And they are going to... God damn it, I keep doing that. I always close that thing by mistake. Do that all the time, I'm sorry. Can I have somebody roll me a D20, please?
I think I'm up on this one.
Okay. You do not sense any additional movement other than this additional giant crocodile begin to move into... Whoops. I moved the whole map around. I'm just really messing this up right now. Okay. There we go. Now we can see everything. But you do see this one begin to move into a position as it senses potential prey still in the water. And it is going to move. Let's see. Reach here. Oh, okay. It is going to dash to get towards you two, right up to you, Floof. But because it dashed to get towards you into the water, it does not attack.
Okay.
Trash, we are on to you. What would you like to do? You do have this crocodile bearing down, its jaws about to bite down on you, Floof. But Trash, we are on to you.
I'm on the ship, right? I managed to...
Yes, yeah, you managed to get low and maintain your balance on the ship.
Okay. I mean, I do want to deal with the new one that popped up, but I feel seeing the monk shit that I just witnessed, I'm gonna try to assist in this poor creature's just to put down this poor creature.
Judge's ruling. Yeah, that was indeed some monk shit.
So yeah, I will pull out my boomstick. I will steady it, and I will take 2 attacks against it.
Against the wounded one or the new one?
Against the wounded one, I think.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your first attack.
Oh, that was not that good. Let's see, what would it be? That is 7 plus 8, so 15.
A 15 just hits.
Perfect.
So, yeah, go ahead and roll.
And spelled it, but that's okay. Damn it. Oh. Oh, that was nice. Okay, so 8 plus 5, 13 damage on the first.
You, right as it begins to convulse and turn its neck, revealing the joint between the skull and the base of the base of the spine where it joins with the rest of the body. You watch as the ball travels directly through the water and Even though being slightly slowed by the surface of the water, it is not enough, and it passes right through this creature as it grows completely still after it passes right through the spine, and it is no more.
Dang,
All right.
she stole your kill. I'm just fine.
Damn. Sorry. Sorry. So seeing that, then I will actually... I've already started attack, so it's not like I can move.
You can move between attacks.
Oh, can I?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can move at any time as long as you have movement. You can
Okay.
do it, yeah, because fighters do it all the time. They'll attack, kill a creature, move again, move again, You can move wherever you want as long as you have movement.
Okay, got you. So I'll move over to the other side where the new one just popped up.
Okay.
And I'll try to get in there and help Floof. This one, I hit it. It was a 19 plus 8, so like 27.
Yeah, 27 definitely hits. No, it totally doesn't hit this giant crocodile the size of
Run!
the size of a barn. Yes, it hits.
Okay, so I'll do damage on this. Is 5 plus 5, so 10 damage on this one.
10, okay. All right.
Okay,
A solid
so that-
strike as you pierce through one of the joints between the front legs and the main body.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I don't think Panda is much of a swimmer. So he will move just onto this side to
Okay.
maybe hopefully be of some assistance, but he's just gonna like ready an attack action, I guess, if he can reach it, if it triggers
Okay.
sometime. But
So he will
he
hold
can't
his
really do
action.
much. He'll hold his action, yeah, exactly. And that's me.
Okay. Floof, you have a crocodile bearing down on your ass. What do you want to do?
I have a couple ideas. Let me ask you this first. If I casted Speak with Animals, could I talk to this thing?
You could certainly do that, yes. It is a beast.
Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
And I'm gonna ask, well, first I'm gonna say, I'm Floof. Why are you attacking the ship?
Food! 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 Hungry!
Just go away. We just killed your friend.
Give me an intimidation check with disadvantage.
That seems fair. Oh, God.
You can use your strength modifier if you want, but yeah, this is definitely with disadvantage.
Okay, my strength modifier is +4, so we'll just add it.
Okay.
If,
So
assuming
just
these
roll
are
it, yeah.
trash.
So
Yeah, okay,
6.
never mind.
Okay, that was with the disadvantage roll. Okay.
Yeah.
So a 10
Yeah.
doesn't even flinch. It is
Okay.
already got its jaws like right ready open. It's like 3 feet in front of you at this point.
Okay. Well, that was a pretty... It was almost a cool action, but not. So that's my action, unfortunately. I accept the fate of the opportunity attack, but or do I? Well, he's gonna attack me anyway. Yeah, I wasted my turn. That's it for me.
You're just gonna stay where you're at?
Yep.
Okay. Just so you know, you don't have a swim speed, do you?
As
normal
in
Floof.
this form, I don't. So
Okay,
it's probably
just-
half my normal.
Yeah, so you right now in the water you only have 15 feet of movement. So just
Okay.
keep that in mind.
Copy that.
Okay. Onto the crew. You watch behind you as Ordo. Goddamn croc! I will make boot of you. as he calls up to his companion, the Tabaxi, up above. Ready the ballista! And you watch as Trash beside you, the Tabaxi is readying. It's not really on this model, but there is a small, like, rotatable ballista on this side and this side of the vessel. That they turn around and begin loading in a shot and begin cranking it up. But it does take... it takes two actions... or it takes an action to crank it and then another action to fire it. But you watch as they're preparing and beginning to aim the ballista. And then the captain is going to reach over. Ah! God! Grab rope! Grab rope! Grab rope! And they're going to throw lifelines over to the side of you on both sides. For one for you, or either Ordo or you, Floof, to grab, and another one on the opposite side for you to try to grab Dazes on the right-hand side. As you see those drag out, he flings them about almost 15 feet out on each side, but they're kind of dragging back, and you watch as the ship is beginning to, are going to try to continue moving onward. But you can see he's trying his best to maneuver it in a way that doesn't strike either of you, which does slow it down a little bit. And you watch as, oops, sorry, that did move. I should have moved you all at the same time. I think that's roughly where everybody was, somewhere around there. You can see Ordo is going to grab onto one of these ropes that was flung aside. The one behind you, Dazes, is maybe about 10 or 15 feet back towards the stern of the ship. Just for your, roughly right around the corner of the ship here is where this rope is dragging out.
Okay.
But with that, we're back to you. What would you like to do?
Ignore the rope and kill the crocodile. I'm just kidding.
Do what you got to do.
I kind of do want to do that, but I guess I want to ask the captain: can we outrun it? Like, can we outpace the crocodile? Does he think we can in the ship?
Maybe not.
Waters.
Big crocodile, big fast, big quick in water.
All right, that's what I need to know. I will, in fact, ignore the rope.
Okay.
I'll swim under the ship.
Okay.
I don't know how much movement that's going to add, but
I would say it'd probably add an extra 5 feet.
Okay,
roughly.
yeah.
I mean, you have a pretty decent swim speed, and you're a monk, so it's not going to stop you from getting to the crocodile.
Yes, but I'm trying to go here.
Okay. Yeah, you were definitely...
I think I can reach it, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, oops, just clicked. And we're gonna go for this again. We'll start off with my big stick, whacking it twice. Remember to do advantage for these. Here's the first one.
Yeah, 25 is definitely going to hit.
Alright. Damage, and then here is the second one. I guess I didn't decide before whether this was one-handed or two-handed. We could just say it's two-handed.
Okay. It is two-handed or one-handed?
We'll do two-handed.
Okay.
Yeah.
On both of them?
Yeah.
Okay. So that would be a total of 13 damage then.
Mm-hmm.
2 solid strikes, once up, crack, pushing the jaws away as you You swing the other one to the other side, crack, and you watch a pair of teeth in the jaw of this creature go sailing out of its mouth as you see a bit of blood dispersing in the water. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
No. I will flurry of blows. Yes.
Okay.
I don't think I can use this other ring actually, because this counts as an action, and I don't think the action
yes.
can be like included with the flurry of blows like together. I
No,
think
not
that's a
in that
separate action.
particular. Yeah, it's a separate action.
Yeah,
It's like a
okay.
push or a shove action.
Makes sense.
Yeah, if it specifically says you use an action to do something, then yeah, it's separate.
Alright. So we will do these 2 unarmed strikes.
Uh, 14 just hits.
And I rolled the other one now.
Yeah, and then 18 hits as well. So go ahead and roll your damage for both of those. Oof. Oof. This creature is bloodied. It's looking a bit rough now. Just like the other one. Just another series of staff strikes, followed by an elbow and then a forearm directly down on the snout and between the eyes, dizzying this creature as it attempts to spin around and bite and smack at you. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
I don't think so. I think I'm out of. Yep, I'm good. I'm not gonna move away from it, so.
Okay.
Done.
Let's see. Yes. Just as you land the second blow and you begin to see this blood beginning to stir in the water, you hear vibrations and sudden surges of movement further down the river as blood begins to fill the water from this creature. As yet another large shape moves out from the shadows, lurking in the underbrush of the river. As yet another one of these large crocodiles begins to take notice of you all. And they are going to dash as much as they can. Yep, getting just enough to get right on you. But that is their movement. As for the one directly in front of you, feeling you strike it from just above, it is going to spin upwards almost like a carousel or like a Ferris wheel and smack you with its tail, Dazes.
Ouch.
That is only a 12 to hit, though, unfortunately.
That will not hit.
And as for its position facing you, Floof, it is going to try to bite down on you with its other attack. That, on the other hand, is a 25 to hit.
That will definitely hit.
Okay. I figured. I had to double check, but unless there was some other means, I don't think you
Even
had...
though I had 30 AC.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to press X to doubt on that one. That is not D8s. Those are D10s. Figured. I have D10s. Hold on. You take 24 points of piercing damage, and you are grappled and restrained in the jaws of this this creature.
Jinkies.
Yeah, you are restrained in the jaws of this crocodile. On on your turn, you'll need to make a strength check to
We'll see about that.
to try to
We'll
escape.
see about that.
Or, whatever, but
Yeah,
you
we'll
know,
see.
to try to escape by traditional means.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, with that, that's the croc. Trash, we are on to you. You watch this pair of crocs now approach your companions.
Right.
Eh, Don't mind that. I'm just putting a marker on the different ones,
For sure. Let me see.
just so I know which is which.
Yeah, I'm just so afraid. I'm looking at like Panda stats and it just says speed. But my problem is I'm afraid if he goes overboard that he's just going to start sinking or something because he's a construct. He's not really.
I mean, any creature or even if they're a construct, they still have a movement speed. Speed is just walking speed or running speed.
So because he's not proficient, it'll be like halved, I
It's
guess?
halved, just like Floof. Yeah, he would have half his movement in the water.
Okay. So yeah, maybe that way he can kind of assist and get into the fray a little. But at least for me, I will I'll aim at the one that's actually the green one.
Okay, the newcomer.
Yes.
Okay.
Only because I think I'm too close.
I mean,
I know visually it looks
you're outside
like...
of its range. Yeah, you're technically horizontally there, but it's like below the water, like 15 feet from you. So you're not.
Oh, okay,
like,
okay.
in
So
melee.
I wouldn't be at a disadvantage. Okay.
No, you're not in melee with it.
Okay, I can hit the blue one then.
Okay.
So first roll was 22.
22 definitely hits.
Oops. And then for damage, 14 damage.
Okay.
Second was, I think it's the same because 14 plus 8, 22. Yeah, so same.
Yeah, 22 still hits.
And second damage. Ooh, this one's slightly better. And plus 5, so 15 damage.
Okay. This one is looking heavily wounded.
And then I guess Panda will just jump into the water.
Okay. Yeah, you could definitely, because you'll fall. That doesn't take up your movement into the water, and they're not going to take fall damage because they're only jumping like 10 feet into water.
Mm-hmm. And he will try to attack as well.
Okay. Let me double check on whether or not this has disadvantage. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me double check here. Let's see. When making melee attack, weapon attack, creature that doesn't have a swimming speed, either natural, granted, or disadvantage on the attack. It's not really a weapon attack. Range. Yeah, so you're fine. I wouldn't say you have disadvantage on this.
Okay.
How I read that, interpret it, because it doesn't say anything about. It just says melee weapon attack.
Mm-hmm.
This is not really a weapon. This is a unarmed strike in their instance.
Right.
So yeah, I'll allow it.
Okay. Go ahead. So to attack, it is. I think it just hits because I rolled 11, but it's plus 4, so 15.
Yeah, 15 hits.
Okay. So 7 total damage.
7. It is not looking good as Trash Panda begins to claw out one of the eyes of this crocodile. But it is still just barely holding on.
Alright, that is my turn.
Okay. Floof, we are on to you. You are in the jaws of this crocodile.
Okay.
It is not looking good as it was shot multiple times, bludgeoned, and its eyes clawed out by your companion's little rodent-like construct.
That kind of impacts what my original plan was, but for the sake of me being grappled and underwater, maybe not knowing what's going on, I'm going with what I was going to...
You are restrained, so any attacks you would have, melee-wise, would have disadvantage.
Okay, which is exactly why I am casting Polymorph on it.
On the crocodile.
On the crocodile, and it has a
Okay.
Wisdom 16 save.
Oh, Wisdom 16. Okay, I'm going to roll this above the table here so we can see this. It does not have... I don't believe it... No, it has nothing, so this is a straight roll. So it needs to beat a 16. That is a 10. What do you polymorph this creature into?
I am polymorphing it into a common, tiny little gecko.
Okay. I do not have a token for a gecko, but
You won't need it.
okay. We'll just
I
take
don't
it off
think-
the map for now.
Well, actually, you
Great
might, because
stuff.
I don't have another action. So
I'll put a little marker here, but yeah, it. You
I
watch
will
as
s-
it just as it goes to bite down on you again. You just feel the softest little nibble, and you look down, and there's this gecko just gumming your finger.
Perfect. I would like to grab the gecko in my hand.
Okay, you
And I will-
have restrained the gecko that was formerly the crocodile that was restraining you.
And I will say, I told you, or you did. What would I say? You should have left.
It continues to try to bite at your finger. Hunger, hunger, hungry, hungry. It just doesn't seem to have comprehended the fact that it's not large anymore.
Okay. Well,
Wait, you cast polymorph, right?
yes.
Okay, so you wouldn't hear that at all. You just hear it trying to gnaw at your finger, because you would have to
yeah.
drop. I believe the other one's concentration as well.
Okay. Well, then I think that in my head.
But for the sake of
it should have
enjoyment, I would
left.
imagine
Yeah.
you probably heard that right as it changed.
All right. Perfect. And since I don't have any additional actions, I won't squish it in my hand yet.
Okay. Just so you know, polymorph. I think a gecko has let me double check. I don't know what the stat block of a gecko is. Gecko. We'll just say lizard. Lizard. D&D. I don't know how many hit points a lizard has. I would imagine very few.
Yeah, probably.
Lizard, here we go. It has 2 hit points. If those hit points go to 0, it reverts back to a crocodile, just so you know. I would imagine
Okay.
you understand this spell having cast it.
Yeah, that's
So
fair.
just keep that in mind. It does not die if you squish it. It just reverts back to a crocodile.
Yeah, okay. That's all I can do.
Okay. Okay. The crew.
I will swim to the surface. I do have movement if that's
Okay.
an option. If I was underwater.
Yeah. I would imagine you could get to the surface. You still have your full movement. You see behind you that Ordo has grabbed the rope and he's in the process of climbing his way back onto the deck of the ship here to get back on. As he wings the rope back onto you, I would imagine this happens pretty simultaneously. So if you want to utilize that rope to get back on the vessel, you can certainly do that.
Yeah, I'm sure I noticed that it's moving. So yeah, I'll do that if I can.
Okay. You can go ahead and put yourself back on the boat.
Okay.
Somewhere near the edge. Oops. All right. This the Tabaxi is going to go ahead and fire the ballista. If I can have somebody roll me a d20.
I think it's my turn.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. Yeah, that's going to be a 25 to hit. If I can have somebody roll me 5d8.
Oh.
Yeah, this is a ballista. Yeah, 5d8. Okay, plus an additional 5, so that's 29 damage. As this ballista bolt right into the back of this crocodile in front of you, Dazes, sails down and just spears this crocodile. And you can see there's a rope hanging off of it as well, as it does so. What did I say? 29 total, I think?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, a solid strike as this creature is impaled by this ballista bolt. Yes, that one. I can math. And then the Ordo climbed up, and yes, the captain seeing this, get aboard! Get aboard! Get aboard! As he, tries to he again tries to sling a rope out towards you, Dazes. You can see it kind of falls about 10 foot to the outside of the ship over here to you and this construct as the ship continues to move. About there. By the time that rope drags, it is like right beside you and the crocodile, right between you and Panda. And move everybody back onto the ship here. But we are back to you. What would you like to do, Dazes?
I mean, I kind of still want to kill this thing. But I won't. I'll.
I mean, you can grab onto the rope and, still attack. You still have...
Oh.
I mean, you can one-hand it, yeah, and just hold onto the rope and let it drag you.
Well, I wanted to get into flanking position if I could, but I don't think that's possible. Unless I grab the rope, wait for it to get me onto the other side of the crocodile, and then attack it. But I don't know if that's feasible.
I'll tell you what. If you give me an acrobatics check, I'm going to tell you the DC is going to be, in this instance, to grab the rope and swerve under the crocodile and then make your attack. I'm going to say it's going to be a 16.
Okay, how many attacks can I make? Is just one?
Well, I mean, you'll still be able to make your attacks, but this is to see if you can successfully get into flanking with it while grabbing the rope. Right. Otherwise, you won't be able to grab the rope and attack.
Gotcha, okay.
So go ahead and make an acrobatics check for me. Absolutely without effort. You even just, you swerve down using the momentum you have, grabbing the rope as you come up and somersaulting out of the water to the other side in the most over-the-top, unnecessary method, but in a stunning display of naval acrobatics and swimming prowess, land on the other side, and you effortlessly get into position while still holding the rope. And I would say with that, let's see. As you're doing that, with that nat 20, I will allow you to have the advantage while simultaneously able to grab and pull Trash Panda to the other side without leaving them behind.
I'll take that.
But and you still have, I will allow, because of the nat 20, I will still give you advantage as if you were flanking.
Oh, shoot, okay. Damn.
Because otherwise
Well,
you would
I'm
have
just
left
gonna roll.
Panda behind while you were doing this.
Yeah. I'm gonna roll all the attacks just all at once, I guess.
Well, this is okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll your attacks. Yeah, you still have the advantage as you've completely confused this creature by sailing out of the water and over the top of it.
All right. First one.
Yep.
Second one.
Yep.
And I'm gonna go ahead and do flurry just
Okay.
to you know,
Let's see it.
just to flex on him.
Yep. And yep, I mean all of them just simultaneously striking every nerve ending that you can find on the way over as you slam into this creature with your staff multiple times as you somersault over them out of the water and then letting loose of the rope just long enough for you to elbow this thing between the joints in multiple spots as you get on the opposite side of it before it even has time to react. So go ahead and roll your damage.
All right. I think since all these are the same, it'll just be 4d8 plus 20
Okay.
altogether. So I'm just gonna do all at once. Plus 20.
How do you want to do this?
Oh,
Nice.
That was fucking awesome.
I mean, can I? Okay, since we're being awesome already, can I kill it while I'm over it? Like while I'm
Yeah,
somersaulting?
tell me how you do it. It's your kill.
I'm just gonna. I mean, I know it's like 4 hits, but we'll just go ahead and say while I'm over its head, I like kind of stab my quarterstaff like through his wherever a crocodile's brain would be. I guess twice since I hit it twice.
Yeah, just pop, pop. Immediately,
and
you
yeah.
see the whites of the eyes roll back in the skull as you make the strike, and it's just after that, it's just all gravy at this point with the remaining blows.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and say since I'm over its head, I aim for the eyes with like 1 and 1, just to.
Two shots to the brain, one with the elbow, rolling back into a kick to get the other eye as it is just turns over effortlessly and begins to float at the surface of the water, just blood pooling everywhere. As you hold on to Panda under your arm, still grabbing the rope. Trash, you would see this, and Floof, you would see this. It is one of the coolest things you've ever seen Dazes do.
He popped off this fight.
Yeah, I'm just staring in awe. I'm like,
You're like, what the fuck?
yep.
That was the most unnecessary thing I've ever seen, and yet I can't stop watching. But yes. Is there anything else you want to do, Dazzy? As you grip onto the rope.
Nah, I've done enough. We'll just
Okay.
swim towards the boat. I don't even know if I have any movement left. Whatever movement I have, just swim towards the boat.
Yeah.
Let's just get back on
I would
this thing.
imagine you could just get up to the edge of it. With that,
And
you
Panda back
still,
to trash.
yeah, you still see yet more movement from over here. As yet one more crocodile begins to pursue. But as you would sort of know from having the briefest of discussions, Floof, just a moment here, I need to determine the distance here. Oh, yeah. It didn't sound like this creature really was of any sound tactical mind. It just seemed to be looking for the easiest, swiftest meal. As it rushes towards, and you think you Dazes, you turn, and you're like, oh fuck, not another one. As you
That's exactly what I
turn,
was thinking, yes.
as you turn and look, you're like, fuck, 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 fuck. But it goes right past you towards the floating carcass of the other gator as you scramble your way onto the boat as if you're just not worth the effort. Seeing this much larger piece of meat floating over in the water in front of it. Not being particularly picky as you all begin to sail onward.
Wait, I'm gonna toss the gecko into the mouth. Try to toss it into the mouth
Okay.
of this new
Yeah,
gator.
yeah, totally. I mean, you were passing up everybody anyway, so if there's anything you'd like to do for flavor, we're basically out of initiative. Because this gator, basically, mechanically, I had it roll for to see which it preferred, and it highly preferred the other option. But yeah, nevertheless, yeah, we'll just we'll leave everybody back to the boat here. Get to the chopper. Do it now. All right, there we go. But yeah, you watch as this other crocodile just begins to tear into this fresh kill, Dazes, that you have left behind. Multiple other corpses. Floof, you were saying you were.
Me?
Yes.
I was just throwing the gecko into the
Okay.
mouth, or basically the pile of flesh from the one that was dead, hoping that this person that wanted to eat me a second ago gets eaten.
Okay. As it slams into the rushing waters and gets slammed back into the water by the tail of the newly appeared crocodile, you watch as it gets slapped aside, and as it does so, it mid-air gets slapped into the air and transforms back into a crocodile and smashes against the water. Just unsure of what the fuck just happened. As it just, you see it like look about before sinking below the water, and you don't see its shadow anywhere near the boat. But we are out of
Excellent.
initiative. That was incredible.
Nicely done.
That was incredible. Well done.
That's done. Critical hit you had was insane, Dazes.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, we will
I
go
don't
ahead
remember that.
and exit initiative. That was awesome. We got to see some awesome monk shit and some weird druid magic. I'm here for it.
Oh yeah.
So we'll go ahead and with that, as you find yourselves back on the boat, Dazes taking a breath, just in a kind of a mixture of shock and impressed that you managed to pull that off, and Floof wondering what the fuck you just happened talking with a crocodile. A bit stunned by the whole situation as well, and you look over as the goblinoid captain's like, "That was awesome!" As he's just jumping up and down on his raised platform at the wheel. "Let's get out of here!" As he continues to sail downriver from the thrashing of the crocodiles behind you. But yes, nevertheless, as you sail onwards towards the northern part of the Jamila River, towards Tafar, just in the distance on the edge of the horizon, as the sun is beginning to set, you begin to see the skyline of the city of Tafar once more. And as you take a breath to relax for the evening, realizing that you could just have easily have been crocodile food that afternoon, but managed to subdue the creatures with a combination of martial prowess and quick thinking. We will go ahead and pick that up next time as we continue the journey of our small but admirable party